RWJ Barnabas Health.
Visit rwjbh.org/getchecked.
This is Brendan Dillon, and you are listening to the Devils Hockey Network.
Sunday morning at an optional skate, the Devils found some gifts coming their way as Jack Hughes, Arseny Gritsuk, and Timo Meier all stepped out on the ice as they return either from injury or, in the case of Meier, a personal leave of absence. And Chico Resch, it was good to see those three back, and the hopes were that the Devils would be able to extend their winning streak to 3.
Boy, did it look promising, huh, Matty? I mean, the warm-up was electric. We kept our eyes on Jack. He seemed to be shooting the puck pretty well and looked like his legs were in good shape. And so we thought, well, do you think he can score?
Well, in fact, he did, as Jack Hughes returns off an 18-game absence with the injury suffered off ice while in Chicago. And Jack didn't take too long, 8:51 in, and the Devils were in front. Jack Hughes rifles one home through a screen. Well, maybe he'll score every time he's on the board. The Devils lead 1-0. One could always hope that wasn't the case. Turns out that was the only goal scored by the Devils. Dawson Mercer and Colton White playing in his 100th game, picking up the assist. And things looked pretty bright for the New Jersey Devils.
Well, they did, Matty, and then we all sat in anticipation when a pass went over to Gritsuk, which he's got a great shot. He's been pretty hot. I know he's been out, but anyway, you'll get to that in the highlight too, I'm sure. But for the first 5, 7, 8 minutes, Devils looked really good.
Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen getting the start. First time since December 3rd against Philadelphia. Did make an appearance coming on in relief on December 9th against Edmonton, but the man who watched action from the bench today has been carrying the load. In goal for Buffalo, Alex Lyon with 5 straight wins, all 5 of Buffalo's 5-game streak. But it was Luukkonen who stole the show, literally on this, what we'll call the play of the game, brought to you by Prudential, the Devils' official financial services partner. Benson across the line, has it knocked free. McLeod with it. The Benson shot blocked in front, and Mercer calmly clears it to the neutral zone. A bouncing puck settled by Gritsuk. Drops it off to Jack. Gives it to Gritsuk. His shot is stopped by Luukkonen. What a glove save by the Buffalo goalie. You know, everything went right on that play, including from Buffalo's standpoint. You wanted more, of course, but you got to tip your cap to the guy in goal.
There was only one guy that, as you said, Graham Larson, that could steal that goal from the Devils. The only guy. And it could only be with the glove. And it kind of had to be a shot that he could reach. And remember, when they're blasting it from the right side like Gritsuk, he doesn't put it exactly where he'd like to. He kind of shot it back in to the middle of the net, and that allowed Luukkonen to, reach out and get this glove on it. But, oh, my goodness, you see so much of the net open. And, but I thought, like you, Matty, okay, he robbed him. No big deal. There'll be lots of good chances down the road.
Well, it turns out that was the play of the game, brought to you by Prudential, the Devils' official financial services partner. Now, if a bus had wings, it'd be a plane. I get that. Had they scored there 2-0 is an entirely different game.
Well, you nailed it, Matty. I mean, we look at so many games, Matty and I, and you fans, too, that are listening and watching. I mean, there's moments in the game that I think change it one way or another. And us scoring there, the Devils scoring there would have done that tonight.
Unfortunately, it did not occur, and Luukkonen doing his job, and in the end, he winds up with his 5th win of the season. But the game was not over. In fact, it was 1-0 after one. Devils outshoot Buffalo 12-9. Neither team really had a full power play. There was a late delayed call on Zach Benson for a high stick. The Devils chewed up a lot of time. They were trying to score with the extra skater on. They just didn't do it. And then finally at the end they said, all right, let's take this to the second period.
Yeah.
And it didn't quite get there, but close. Anyway, they had 12 seconds of power play time at the end of the first period. But that was a turning point, too, because they had the power play, and the Devils weren't able to score early in the second either.
Yeah, I remember the power play, man. They had one shot, but they had 2 shots that were pretty lethal. Could have been goals, but they went high and over the net. So I think, we're like the fans. You're anticipating, hey, start of the second period, they nail their power play, especially with all the guys that have come back. You know, they haven't had them on the power play in the past few games, but with them out there, they're going to score, but they didn't.
No, they didn't, and so that power play ran out 1:48 into the period, and shortly thereafter, Buffalo had tied it up. Off the draw, Dahlin in front, and they score! Allen was seemingly looking for the puck.
And he said something to the referee, and the referee's shaking his head no.
Well, unless there's a challenge of some sort, they're not going to look at it. It's going to be Norris's goal. His fourth of the season. He's been hot. He hasn't played a lot this year. He's been hurt, as is often the case in his career, but he has been Johnny on the spot for the Sabres with his fourth at .226.
Well, that's why Allen went to the referees. He said, are you sure I didn't have it under my pad? Are you sure? Because you're not supposed to be able to dig in if you're an opposing player if the goalie's got it under his pad. I don't know where it was. We didn't get a good look from it on that angle, but he just kept battling, and all of a sudden it popped out, and then he had the net, and he scored.
And so the assists went to Rasmus Dahlin and Owen Power at .226. The Devils did call a timeout. They were close to challenging it. They were looking. The officials were saying, come on, what's your decision? They used their timeout. They finally decided not to challenge it. And it was close, but I'm thinking that probably would not have worked, and they would have been down a man. So you'd rather not be that way. You'd rather just be tied at 1.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Matty. I because there wasn't a good look, but I did see it kind of a black disc there, kind of laying there for a while. I don't think you would have overturned it.
We're going to hear from Jack Hughes a little later on, but first let's wrap up our highlight segment, and we continue into the second period. Luukkonen only had to face 6 shots. He got them all. 12 for Buffalo as they started to take control, and Zach Benson, a young player for the Buffalo Sabres, just 20 years of age, a former first-round draft pick, he gave them the lead. Jack just came out from behind his net, skated across the top of the crease, went back behind the net, and finally found some freedom. But here comes Buffalo across the line. Benson with a shot. He scores. Yeah, Jack Hughes showing his skills on his edges, but in the end it was Zach Benson who powered Buffalo with his third goal of the season at 16:05, a late second period goal.
Yeah, Benson has proven, at least this year, he's not a goal scorer. Only two goals before this goal, and it's a 2-on-1. Pesce goes down. He's not going to let that pass go across. So I think Benson just sort of said, okay, I'm just going to whip it. And he whipped it, and for some reason, Jake Allen, who's been so good, 5-hole on the knees, butterfly, it snuck through there, Matty, and Sabres led.
But it was only 2-1 after 2, and you said, all right, let's see what the Devils would do. Cody Glass was stopped in tight. Dawson Mercer had a chance. Open net, shot it wide. Got to put some pucks on net, too. Jesper Bratt had a shot that went wide as well. And then it was Bratt with a better opportunity, but Luukkonen was there. Kept off the board, but the Sabres with the lead. Puck in the neutral zone from Meyer. Up to Hischier. Across the line. Finds Bratt. Cutting in front. Shot save made by Luukkonen. Grabs the loose puck. And we'll have a face-off. Well, you know, you got to give credit to the man between the pipes. They added an empty net goal from Peyton Krebs. 3-1 the final score.
Can I add lucky Luukkonen tonight?
Yeah, sure.
Because, and I'm not trying to take anything away from him, but there was the one where Cody Glass has the net wide open on the rebound. And the goalie, if you're looking at him, he's to the left side. Half the net at least is open. And that's where Cody Glass wants to sweep this puck, but somebody was kind of on his stick a little bit. When you're looking at the net, he shot it by the right post. And I thought, how did that not go in? But there were a few like that tonight, right, Matty? You wondered, how didn't the Devils score?
Nico Hischier had a number of chances. He continues to be stymied, shall we say, as he's gone now 10 games without a goal.
Oh, he's got to be feeling it, Matty. I know he got 2 assists in Utah, but tonight, again, blasting the puck. And I don't know why, but he's missing the net quite often right now. Mm-hmm. It'll come back, but right now he's just not the finisher that we know him to be.
it will come back on Tuesday night when the Devils take on the Islanders. But for now, let's check in with Jack Hughes, returning to the Devils lineup after an 18-game absence, scoring the only goal. He spoke with the media afterward.
Jack, just for you, obviously, how did it just feel to be out there and sort of get that rhythm going again?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, it's just really fun to get back out there and play. Yeah, I'm just glad I'm out there playing again. It's the best thing to do.
Does it just remind you just like how special it is, how much you really miss it when you get that first taste again?
No, it's when you're sitting on the couch and guys are playing. No joke, it's when guys are playing, and that's the taxing part of being injured. You want to be out there. That's what you want to do the most. So for a guy like me, watching these games sucks, and to get back out there, personally, I'm just grateful that, I was able to have the chance to get back out there.
What did you see in the second period for you guys that maybe you weren't able to penetrate through and sort of have that ozone presence that you maybe did a little bit more in that first?
Yeah, they probably just they played better than us in the second, so they were faster than us and probably harder on pucks and kind of allowed them to tilt the ice.
Jack, it feels like the power plays had a rough stretch. I know you had one rep out there, but what are you seeing from it?
You have one rep. You don't really get any momentum going. We didn't do a great job on that power play, but we got to find a way to draw more power plays and allow our power play to get into it and build it. And so it hasn't been going too well, but every good power play they get hot, and no one talks about it when you're hot, and when you're cold it's more of a talking point. So we know we're a great power play, and we're just going to get back to it. But we got to draw more, and tonight we're not as sharp as we'd like to be.
Just the one power play for the Devils won all game. Devils didn't draw a penalty or get called for a penalty. Buffalo didn't have a power play either.
No, and you're seeing more and more of that from teams using their stick rather than their bodies, not wanting to take penalties. But as Jack said, even that one power play, Matt, it could have swung the balance. I know it was only one, but they score there, and it may be a different game.
What did you think about Jack's game overall?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, here's the thing with Jack, Matty. When he's just playing a normal game, like tonight, he had the puck a lot. I would like to know how many minutes he had the puck on his stick. He was moving. He tried to make some plays. Some worked, some didn't. He made a great pass to Gritsuk, who should have scored, and he knows that. So overall, but was Jack as dynamic as we've seen him in some games this year? No. But I wouldn't expect that. Heck, would you say 18 games he's been out? But he still could have and did have an impact on the game. Not only could have, but he did. Scored the goal, made a great pass, would have been a goal and an assist at least tonight. So, but, I just want to see him become a little more dynamic, and I think when he gets in shape, he will.
The top line accounted for 7, 3, and where's Brad? Or 3 shots. So 7 for Meyer, 3 for Hischier, 3 for Brad. 13 shots on goal, and Jesper Brad addressed the game after it concluded.
After a real well-played first period, what do you think changed the rest of the game?
We played a little slower. A couple turnovers in the second there that kind of tilted the ice a little bit. We know they're a fast transition team. They want to play a transition game, and I think in the first period we did a pretty good job of staying above them, making them defend, and I think by the second period there, we kind of started playing a little slower. We had some turnovers. We didn't really won the battles, and that's when we spent a little more time in our zone.
Are you surprised, though, because obviously Jack's back, you had the goal by him. There's a lot of juice in that first period. That more momentum didn't come into the second period.
Yeah, I mean they're going to come out with a little more fire too, and we kind of knew that. We knew they were going to come out a little faster with a little more juice in the tank, and they just got to their game better in the second period than what we did.
It's kind of frustrating to sort of like have those 2 games that you did on the road and then come out with this when you guys are really trying to find some traction going into your game.
Yeah, I think especially the last 12 minutes of the first period, I think was really well, and I thought we were in a good spot, and we just didn't manage to stay with it a little bit in the second, and I think the battle game was kind of where it slipped away a little bit, and I think they were stronger on battles during that second period, and it's kind of where I tilted.
You're talking about like those 50-50 battles, like along the wall, those types of things, like those type of things. And what sort of has to go into changing that? Is that just like a mentality thing? Like,
we'll get back to that in just a moment because Sheldon Keefe is speaking with the media.
On their first goal, was it just too tight to challenge it, in your opinion?
Yeah, we obviously called a timeout because we needed more time. It was a close one. The angles and views provided didn't give us enough clarity on it, which is why I called a timeout. And ultimately, it's a look from actually the Buffalo broadcast, which we have access to, that there was one angle that had the puck loose through there. That was pretty, in my mind, definitive, at least enough to make it one that I didn't feel very confident that would come back. So that's why we called the timeout, is just to hope that another view or two came in. And yeah, that's the decision that we made there.
how much in the second period was part of it just sort of about not winning those 50-50 battles, particularly along the boards, maybe not that urgency to win those battles? To create
like I said, I just thought we were very casual right from the start of our power play, and it carried through. That goal against, just referenced, we were very casual and easy around our net front. And yeah, I just thought in all areas we just didn't have the necessary competitiveness and urgency and all that kind of stuff and purpose. Everything that we talk about, we just didn't have it. And I thought for really good chunks of the first period, I thought we had it. I thought we had a lot of high danger chances in the first period. Should have scored more than we did. Obviously, we did not allow them to hang around in the game. I don't know if we felt it was going to be easy or something like that after that, but that's the way that it looked with how we performed in the second, and it cost us.
Coach, do you feel like the power play lately just maybe more of a boon than it has been a boost?
Yeah, I would say so, other than the fact that it won us the last game that we just played 48 hours ago. But certainly today, that was a factor. Yeah, it hasn't been good enough. Our special teams on both sides haven't been good enough. So, it makes it hard.
And obviously, Jack has the goal, but what was your assessment of the three bodies you got back in the lineup today?
Yeah, I mean, I thought they each provided some. Obviously, gives us more depth. Great goal by Jack. I thought he was responsible for 4 or 5 really high danger chances that he created for himself or others in the first period, and that in itself probably should have been enough for us to win the game if we can execute and finish on some of those chances. So that was great to see. The other guys had some moments too, but overall as a team, we just didn't play well enough for 3 periods to be able to win the game. Thanks.
Buffalo had something to do with that, didn't they?
Oh, they did, Matty. I mean, they battle along the boards. And I know you could say, well, the Devils along the boards, no, I didn't see them losing puck battles along the board. They didn't win them all because Buffalo was really intense. But if I could take the tape and show some of the chances that some of the Devils had, and they know it, each individual player, Jesper Bratt, Nico Hischier, he knows it. Gritsuk, especially with his miss. But, you could talk about all the other parts of hockey, but what are we expecting that, except for maybe Colorado? Colorado can get into a game, Matty, they can control it, right? They're just that good. Everybody else, ebb and flow. You get a chance to score, you got to score. And like Sheldon Keefe said there, we had a lot of chances, just didn't capitalize.
This is the National Hockey League in 2025-26. Before we wrap things up, we'll rewind the clock, go back to the Jesper Bratt interview, and pick it up with Amanda Stein's question.
Talking about like those 50-50 battles, like along the wall, those types of things, like those type of things. And what sort of has to go into changing that? Is that just like a mentality thing? Like, how do you?
I think that's just a mindset thing.
Right.
I think that certain battles are not really anything that you work on. That's something that you just wanted more. And I think that during parts of the game we wanted it more, and then we got to our game to a good spot. And when we didn't win those battles, when we didn't want to win those battles, then they got to their game.
third period you had some opportunities. You just have to take your hat off to their goaltending in the third period.
Yeah, he did a good job. Did some good saves, so we definitely could have had some goals.
I know that you only had one rep tonight, but overall, does it feel like the power play is maybe taking away some of your momentum lately? It hasn't scored much in the past 10 games.
Yeah, I mean, I would say so. I think power play is where you kind of build momentum, and I think that we just got to go back to some basic stuff. I think that the one goal that we had in Utah was maybe not our best power play game in Utah, but we still came through and kind of helped the team to get that win. And I think that's just what we got to start building on. And had a little bit of a different unit today. We just had one look, but we got to be sharp when we get those chances.
With Jack and Timo back, I mean, do you expect to get this team getting more goals now? Yeah, I mean, it's great to have those guys back and Grits too, and starting to get the guys together a little bit. And it's a great time for us to have those three guys back. So we're excited moving forward, and we just gotta see that we got to be better every day. And I mean, tomorrow's another step to, going into the Christmas break with a good feeling, with a win. It's going to be our focus now.
And that game will come against the New York Islanders on Tuesday night at UBS. Second meeting of the season between the two teams. Devils lost earlier in overtime. Matt Barzal with the overtime game-winning goal. So we'll see what happens then, but we do know this. It'll be a challenge.
Always is a challenge, Matty. You can battle, you can work, you can try to create chances. You do all that, and the Devils have. And you know what? The Islanders are in a little bit of a slump, but I wouldn't say, then we've got a big edge. The Devils have a big edge because they've been in a slump. Well, we lost tonight. But what I'm saying is, Matt, no, each game will be decided by the Gritsik shot or a couple others that went high and wide that could have been goals. That's what decides them. And we just hope, Matty and I and all you fans do, that the Devils can start finding the range offensively a little more, because they're playing pretty well, folks. It's just they got to finish.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back to last Sunday, one goal against Vancouver. They only scored 2 against Utah. They scored 1 against Vegas, but they won those 2 games.
That's perfect. That's it. And the accolades were terrific. Oh, this and that. Yeah. Well, they did some of those same things tonight. But, Matty, I was a little surprised, quite honestly, and I'm not singling out anyone, but some pretty good shooters missed the net at critical times. They did. Yeah.
There were opportunities, and then when maybe the best opportunity, other than the used goal, came, there was UPL there to rob Arseny Gritsuk, and from there, Buffalo took control. They were down 1-0. They go on to a 3-1 victory. That includes an empty net goal by Peyton Krebs as the Devils get ready for the Islanders on the road on Tuesday, a game you'll hear here on the Devils Hockey Network.